Today I'm going to review and go over today's Toyota 500 at Darlington and talk about the events that took place after the race was officially called. And let's get started.
Ryan Priest, and you're watching William Blackwell on YouTube.
The race started off with an inverted field from Sunday's finish. You had Ryan Priest and Ty Dillon on the front row. Ty Dillon led the first so many laps, and then Joey Logano caught him and then passed him for the lead. And then that's when Clint Bowyer came into the picture and eventually passed Logano. Bowyer won stage one in a dominant fashion by a big margin. And then stage two started, and Bowyer was still dominant. He was the big dog at the time. And in the later stages, you saw the 9, the 11, and the 19 start stepping up. The 9 was close, so at the end of the stage, he was about half a second behind, but he was close, and Bowyer got stage 2. Stage 3 started. You saw a long run, and that's something you did not see on the early stages of tonight's race. And that's when the 14, who was dominating the whole night, he fell back to 5th and then worked his way back up. And eventually, a pit cycle happened, and you had Matt Kenseth spin out for, I don't know what the reasoning was, either blew a tire or intentionally did it, who knows. But when that caution came out, the biggest loser out of all of that was obviously Clint Bowyer, but more importantly, Erik Jones. Erik Jones was top 3 at the time, and he just lost so much ground on it. And eventually they restarted, went a couple laps, and then Clint Bowyer got into the wall and wrecked, and it was just a devastating ending for that 14 team. That 14 was up front all night, and then for that to happen, that's a big disappointment. But they're going to hold their heads up high and go to Charlotte with some momentum, I guess you can say. A pretty good, he led above 70 laps. That's impressive. And that's going to build some momentum heading into Charlotte. The finish might not be what they wanted, but they still got some valuable points and 2 playoff points too. That's big. So the 14, they're going to be pretty good going to Charlotte. I ain't got them as my winner though, but I'll get to that later on. But they restarted though. You had Denny Hamlin stay out on old tires, which was an iffy call at the time. I compared this to the Michigan race in 2018, where Mike Bugger decided to give Bowyer 2 tires and he stayed out. Everyone was like, wow, why is this happening? And the judgy pit call actually ended up giving him the win. This is Hamlin's 2nd win of the year. He won the Daytona 500. He couldn't really celebrate that because of the Newman incident, but now he can celebrate this one. He earned it, I guess you can say. But he would not have won that race if a caution didn't come out. And the caution was when Chase Elliott was turned by Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch just misjudged it. And you really can't blame Kyle Busch. He didn't purposely do it. But Chase Elliott hit the inside wall pretty hard, I'm not going to lie. And he got out. He waited for the field to come around. And then Kyle Busch passed by, and Chase Elliott flicked him off. And my first initial reaction was, cool, that's pretty funny. But more importantly, though, Chase Elliott is going to get a big fine from NASCAR, and possibly he might lose some points. That's not a good look for NASCAR nowadays. Back in the day, that would have went by, but nowadays, with all these sponsors, that ain't nothing that you should do. But the 18 crew was introduced to the 9 crew at the end, because the 9 crew went to them, and you saw a little thing going on before they went off for a commercial break where the 18 was telling him to go away and do stuff. And the 9 crew, Alan Gufferson was there just waiting for Kyle Busch, and Kyle Busch got out the car. Alan Gufferson and confronted him, and then Kyle Busch started cussing at him, and they separated, and they interviewed Kyle Busch. He was just funny on that interview. He was a smart aleck there. But that's how it all took down. But at this point in time, I think this is going to continue. It's that little rival that's starting to build up. And it's going to be interesting to watch how everything goes Sunday night at the Charlotte Motor Speedway in the Coca-Cola 600. Everybody please like and subscribe.